The Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie came out last month, and even though I had some problems with it gave us some interesting ideas to work with as promised. Some people use it as gospel and think all the word applies to the games, while others think we shouldn't use the word in the movie at all. This is pretty much the same as what happened with the original book trilogy. I believe the best course of action is to look at the ideas presented in the movie and see if they can apply to the games, and if they have solid evidence to support them. And I don't know, maybe this movie will solve Fnaf 2. One of the biggest differences between the movie and our understanding of the games is that the Fnaf 2 pizzeria without the toys animatronics was opened all the way back in 1982. In the movie, the pizzeria is referred to as the original one, and the one with the classic is referred to as the franchise location. Now this topic is kinda complicated. In Fnaf 4, we said that the toy designs already exist as actual toys in 83, and not only that, but we see an actual mango toy, and not a Funtime Foxy figurine. In Secret of the Mimic, which takes place in 1979, we see that Freddy's is coming soon, and the classic location was opened in 83, as seen in the Fast token. In the newspaper, the Fnaf 2 pizzeria is referred to as a vintage pizzeria given new life. This would only make sense if the Fnaf 2 pizzeria was opened before. The evidence seems pretty solid, but I don't think this is a slam dunk. The Fnaf 4 minigames are complicated. Not only are the toys there, but there is an obvious Springtrap reference as well as Shadow Animatronics reference. These minigames are so weird that a lot of people don't think that the minigames are little representational of the events, but haunted games, tampered memories, or a loop that the spirit of the bite victim experiences. Plus, it's possible that the bite victim manifested the toys into actual animatronics, so it's kinda iffy as evidence. The Proto Freddy's in MCM uses the classic animatronics and the layout of the Fnaf 1 pizzeria, so that means the project they were working on was the classic location. It's possible that Fiona's designs are the toys and the originals are the design Fazbear presented, but there isn't any evidence for that, so I don't know. The vintage pizzeria is very good as evidence at first glance, but this is definitely talking about Fredbear's family diner. I will let the Night 5 call speak for itself.
We're gonna try to contact the original restaurant owner. I think the name of the place was Fredbear's Family Diner or something like that. It was closed for years though. I doubt we'll be able to track anybody down.
Also in the Night 6 newspaper, the toys are referred to as the new animatronics, so even though there is evidence in the games, I don't think that there was a toys location before the originals. The one event in the original pizzeria was Charlie's Death. Did Charlie's Death also happen in 82 in the games? The year 1982 has been relevant only 2 other times. The first time was in the source code of ScottGames.com, back when Scott was teasing Fnaf 4. Most of the time it was with 87s, and a little before the release of the game it had 83s, but for a brief period of time it had one single 82. The 87s and 83s make sense. At first we were supposed to think this game was about the bite of 87, while it was actually about the bite of 83, but as far as I know, 82 has no actual connection to Fnaf 4. The second time was later that year, in the Silver Eyes, where it was the date of Charlie's death, but it was later retconned to be in 83. But it's impossible for the death of Charlie to happen in 82, because as stated before, the first Freddy's opened in 83. We know for a fact that Charlie died at Freddy's because of a ticket to fun. It tells us that the security bracelets are used in Freddy's. Now did Charlie die in 83 in the original pizzeria, or in 87 in the Fnaf 2 pizzeria? I don't know, this is a discussion for another day, but I'm 99% sure it didn't happen in 82. What we know for sure was in the Fnaf 2 pizzeria were the withered animatronics. In the movie, they were a completely different model from the original, but we were told in the Night 6 newspaper that the original characters are kept in hopes of a possible reorganization of the company, which is a very blatant confirmation that they are the same, just fixed to the original designs. Well, alright, but were the unwithereds real? The Fnaf 2 location has pretty much just opened. We know that because it was stated that the guard before us finished his week. Fritz was the third guard at the location at the end of the week the game takes place, which is the last week of the pizzeria. So it means it was only open for 2 weeks. And there won't be any time for the unwithereds to be the main attraction, to then only be used for parts for the toys. I think the implication is that the original idea was for them to be the main animatronics, but Fazbear Entertainment decided to use the toys instead. You may be asking if it's possible that the unwithereds were used in the original pizzeria. We don't really have evidence for that to be the case. Proto Freddy's uses the original designs in Into the Pit game, which, even though it isn't really canon, the originals were in use. The only time we see the unwithered designs to be in use is in the logo of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place in Fnaf 6, but this is way after Fnaf 2, so no unwithereds unfortunately. A controversial part of the movie is that Michael Afton and Mike Schmidt are separate characters. Ever since Sister Location, the community at large thought that Michael from the custom night cutscene is the same as the one from Fnaf 1. I don't think the movie is supposed to tell us that is not the case, as Vanessa is also a Mike parallel. But I think it's an interesting discussion if Mike is Jeremy or Fritz in Fnaf 2. It's common consensus that Mike is Fritz because Jeremy gets bit, but maybe we were wrong all along. In a Ticket to Fun book owned by Mike, we get Jeremy's paycheck. It's impossible for Mike to get Jeremy's paycheck if they aren't the same person. But maybe asking, but how can Mike be Jeremy if he's the one who gets bit? Is there any evidence for Mike getting injured? If not for, we see ivy bags, pills and flowers. People believe these represent his guilt for getting his brother killed, but the games haven't really implied they've lived for that long. In the Night 6 minigame we see Mike apologizing. He would apologize the first time he sees his brother, and Dave dies in that same minigame. The victim of the bite of 87 lived, so him getting pills, ivy bags and flowers would make sense. I like this idea. It has Mike getting cosmic justice for what he did to David, which is a common theme in Fazbear fights, but I'm not entirely sold on it. Easily the most controversial and my favorite part of FNAF 2 is the DCI. The DCI, short for Dead Children Incident, are the new victims in the Save Den minigame. They aren't expanded upon anywhere else. They are so irrelevant that a lot of people don't think they are even real, but are some sort of metaphor for the MCI. But Ralph has stated that the police are investigating Freddy's for something, so most likely there are new murderers there. It is possible that they are referring to Charlie, but I mean we see like 5 bodies in a minigame, so I mean, you can say that Charlie is a part of DCI. There is a possibility that there is a 6th secret victim there, because there are 6 blood pots, but this topic is way too complicated for the scope of this video. In the movie, we see a group of adults entering into an abandoned Freddy's and being murdered. How does this relate to the DCI? The bodies in Save Them are bigger than any other depiction of children in the franchise. The victims being teens can also explain why we haven't heard from them again. It's possible that teens and adults are much less likely to possess objects in the FNAF universe. There are a lot of deaths unaccounted for from Fazbear fights and the Stitch Raid stingers. Ralph also does not leave behind a spirit. The minigame happens at night, because we see that the guard there is William, who is the night guard before us. They have most likely broken into Freddy's or were lured there by William, as the disappearances are not connected at first with Freddy's. We have seen teenagers breaking into Freddy's in other continuities like in the Silver Eyes and many different Fazbear fight stories, but in those cases the locations have been abandoned. The scene in the movie and this interpretation of DCI is not one-to-one, but I think it's the best explanation we have yet. The best part of the FNAF 2 movie, at least for me, was that Charlie was the one controlling the toys and wizards. This is something we have never seen as an option, but it may be a possibility. In the folk house, we learn that the toys have been
very unusual, almost aggressive towards the staff. They interact with the kids just fine, but when they encounter an adult, they just stare.
Which is the same as in the movie, where Charlie kills adults but is friendly with kids. The animatronics also all act the same, like they are controlled by the same person. I was going to say how it's weird that the mask works on the toys and wizards but not on Foxy and the puppet, but that's also the case in the movie. But I think there's evidence for Golden Freddy to be controlling the animatronics more than Charlie in the games. Golden Freddy is shown to be more aggressive, and 1020, the mod where the animatronics are most aggressive, is named after him. And FNAF 2 also has a lot of ties to FNAF 4. The toys, the bite, the location, it's possible that Dave is influencing them in some way, or Cassidy is recreating his memory somehow for some reason. I feel like I have missed a big part of the world we got in the movie. Well, I guess you need to subscribe to not miss the next video, and while you wait, you can watch my FNAF 4 video.